4 years ago, a Fortnite player no one had heard of won $3 million in the first Fortnite World Cup. Today, it's time to take a look back and break down the incredible story of how Bugha actually won the Fortnite World Cup. So this is Kyle Giersdorf, Bugha, a 16-year-old kid dropping into the first of 6 games of the Fortnite World Cup. His drop spot was Lucky Landing, and before he knew it, he had already landed and started gathering up some early loot. But his first of many big problems showed up. Someone is contesting him. Another player is also at Lucky Landing trying to get the loot, and he's actually seated nearby. Because every player is in the Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York City. The 100 best players from every region around the world competed to qualify, and it was a grueling qualification process. If you got the spot, you were guaranteed $50,000 US just for being there. But now back to Bugha. He's looting up, and little does he know, this one chest he's about to open is literally going to change his entire Fortnite career. And by the way, guys, let's listen to Bugha talk about this chest, because for this video, we actually found his entire World Cup analysis, and we're going to be able to hear his thought process throughout the entire thing.
I think I got it out of the chest. Yeah. Oh my god, that blessed me.
The purple heavy sniper. And you're going to see exactly why that heavy sniper blessed him in this first game. And we're going to break down all these small little details that you might have missed or don't know about, because these 6 games are truly an incredible story. But it's not going to be incredible if Bugha dies off spawn.
And then look, dude, this kid zones like cross map. This kid runs over because he wants to alpha up Lucky. And I'm like, da-dee-da-dee-da. Like, I'm chilling. I'm like, whoa, there's a kid on me.
He's getting pushed early. And he only has a drum.
How am I going to fight this kid?
Oh, he's throwing stinks on him too, and he's got a gold combat shotgun. This kid got some really good loot.
Yep, and he throws more stinks. I'm like, all right, bro, this kid is like... In my head, I was like, I'm about to get grief the entire tourney. I'm not winning.
But after getting harassed for essentially no reason, Bugha and Snazy back off. But Bugha does have one shot to hit, potentially the snipe of his life. Got the heavy sniper in hand. He's looking for Snazy through the window. And he misses.
Bugha misses just behind as Snazy sneaks away.
Bugha has very little mats and has wasted a lot of time with that early engagement with Snazy. And because he missed, he now has to rotate out with basically no materials and not a lot of loot. He's trying to farm up in the outskirts, but watch what happens here.
All right, so here I was like, holy shit, I'm screwed. I'm like, let me get something from this chest.
What's he gonna get from this chest? A slurp. That's actually not bad.
I can't drop anything.
He's gonna have to pop it though, and then just start moving.
Guys, I was debating on dropping the heavy sniper for the slurp.
Oh, that would have been a big mistake.
You guys imagine? And then I was like, nah, this is my win condition. I thought of the heavy sniper. I'm like, nah, this is a win condition. I can't do anything without this.
And now he has to rotate north because the zone pulled really far away from Lucky Landing, and there's still 91 players alive. Okay, so he's slowly rotating in, looking around so that no one can catch him off guard, and eventually he makes the decision that he needs to play a little more aggressive.
And then I'm like, all right, I gotta get to center zone. Me sitting here is gonna do nothing. I'm like, zone's just gonna pull more center and I'm just gonna die. So I'm like, all right, this kind of looks like a free rotate. And then I see all the 4 bases around me. I'm like, oh my god. Right here, I'm like, I'm dead. I was like, there's nothing I can do here.
And keep in mind, right now he only has 500 materials, and some of the players around him have thousands. He's also down to 153 health, and he only has minis. But keep in mind, he does have the heavy sniper, and that might make all the difference.
I was like, right here, I was like, all right, I just need to jump in someone's box.
So he's chilling in his box, looking for an opportunity when he sees a player gliding in from the slipstream and making a box. That's when Bugha hit maybe one of the biggest snipes in Fortnite competitive history.
This was like the most crucial part of the game. This kid goes up to the wall. I hit him with it. Boom. MQ. Oh my god, I saw a launch pad there. I'm like, oh, I need this. I need it.
He's in shambles right now, and he knows he needs that loot if he wants to turn this game around. And now he's contemplating, should I go contest the launch pad, potentially get shot at?
So I'm sitting here. I realize he still hasn't got the pad.
We decided to make this run right here. He's on his way. No one has shot him yet. He hears some shots. Luckily, they do not connect. He full boxes, and now he's down to only 200 wood and 40 brick.
He dropped down. Right here, I was really scared. I was like, dude, what? I was just chilling. I'm like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. I was kind of just waiting for zone. Zone plays far. I'm like, oh my god.
Zone pulls far
like,
away. He's still looking for that launch pad underneath the builds.
And I'm just like, dude, all right, I gotta go. I think I dip here.
He ends up not even grabbing the launch pad, but just wasting more materials to get here.
250 mats. Like, what? You can't do anything here, dude. So I just start running in the open.
And that's when Bugha does it again.
Boy makes a power play right here. Drop down the mountain. I'm like, ooh, dead.
Hits the snipe, and now another player is contesting for the loot, but this time he knows he absolutely needs to get something out of this.
Luckily, he didn't get all the mats, right? If you guys haven't seen this, I make a power play. I'm like, all right, bro, don't shoot me. Like, you know, we both got to get in. Like, come on.
He's been robbed twice, but at least now he's in somewhat of a better position. But he still has to pull off some miraculous plays to actually win this game. I mean, look, he has a gray drum shotgun, a gray AK, and only a heavy sniper with some minis and not a lot of materials.
I ramped this kid because he has a minigun. And currently, I am 23 builds.
But finally, Bugha catches his first bit of actual decent luck.
I hear this kid die, right? I'm like, oh my god. Gift from God right here, dude. Holy.
After hitting both those snipes, this is so deserved. Max metal, a purple combat shotgun, a green AR. This is exactly what he needed.
Oh, now I'm feeling confident, boys. 500 metal. I have impulses. I can get to the zone with one impulse. I'm thinking, I'm like, let's go. So hyped right now. I'm like, dude, I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing this back.
He's making his way into zone. And guys, just a reminder about how stacked this tournament was. You had players like Benji Fishy, Mr. Savage, Clicks, Commandment, Bucky, Epic Whale. Everyone was flown out from all around the world, and this might be the most stacked and competitive lobby in Fortnite history.
Didn't get zoned. And now I'm thinking, like, where am I going to get my mats from? What's the play I'm going to make here? I need to do something, you know? Something crazy.
Now he's waiting for zone, and unfortunately he doesn't get the circle, and here's where he makes his power play that he was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it worked. Check this out, chat. You're about to see a power play. I start getting up the mountain. I combat that kid. I'm like, oh, 34 mats. I'm getting in. I got in on this kid.
He completely dodges that trap too.
Jumped in on this
He
kid's
just
box.
decides to jump into that guy's box because he was down to his last 30 materials.
Watch
and it
everything
paid
I
off.
get from this player. This guy was chilling. I'm like, pop the minis. Give me my shadows. Mats,
Oh, those shadows are going to be very important
I have 6
as well.
shockwaves. I'm like, bro, these shadows, like, I kind of need them. And I'm just looking at my inventory. I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't know.
And now, after using the heavy sniper to make it this far, he's going to make the decision to drop it for more mobility. And this ends up being the right decision.
I believe I dropped heavy snipe after this, I think.
He's about to rotate his zone, but another player is fighting right near him.
All right. No, I didn't get zoned. Didn't get zoned, guys. I was so mad I didn't get this kill. I was like, bro. But I got more loot from it, so.
He gets a huge refresh, and now it's time to rotate the zone. It's pulling far north, as you can see.
All right. I'm pretty sure shockwave, shadow.
So he shockwaves into zone, and guys, look at this end game. So many players and so much talent in one small circle. He's on the low ground, and he's looking for an opportunity. An opportunity does present itself. He's playing patient when he spots a player getting beamed, and he takes the opportunity to pick up another elimination.
And with the shockwave,
he's not going to bother looting.
Try to get above. Like, I'm making power plays here. Now I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm in the zone. I'm like, all right, now I'm playing solos out like I know, you know, because I have all the loot in the world.
There's the confidence.
I'm like, we're chilling. We're chilling.
And guys, he's tarping in effortlessly, making very few mistakes, and this was literally 4 years ago. A lot of players these days can't even build like this.
Didn't get zoned again. Actually, did get zoned. I did on this kid. I was so scared. Hit him twice. I was like, all right, I gotta chill. I gotta chill.
And he does need to chill because the format of this tournament heavily favors placements and the victory royale. You only get 1 point per elimination, but you get a lot more points for staying alive and winning the game.
Like, Chad, if you looked at the start of this game and predicted that I would have won it, it's like so, I don't know.
And yeah, it is completely crazy. He went from having absolutely nothing to having an amazing setup with great mobility, and now it's time for him to completely take over this game.
And this kid, I just in the head, boom.
Huge plays there. Waylon Kurtz going down to the feed. What a shot and a quick edit swap there.
Low boom. I think I heard some cheering here. I was hype. I was feeling it. And I think King started going off here too, so.
And King is another big player to look out for. He was one of the best players in the World Cup, and we'll talk more about him later.
Here it is, the Shadow Bomb for rotation. He's still got 2 more in his inventory, which this late in the game is huge. He does have 3 shockwave grenades as well.
He's also really good at understanding layer management. He understands which layer is good and where he needs to go to be uncontested.
Let's get up a layer. Play it safe. Play it safe. Get above this kid.
Now it's a top 7 situation, and he uses the Shadow Bomb. This is where the game completely gets crazy for him.
Okay, I have Shadow here. I go all the way low ground. Look, my movement's terrible with shadows here. I'm not sure if I'm nervous or I'm just playing weird. I drop low. Crack that kid once. Clicks. Laid up.
Clicks goes down right
shots,
there.
Big hit. My gosh. The outside. Bugha picking up his 6th elimination.
He's got 5 players remaining. He's on the ultimate low ground. He hears people right above him, and he's playing very smart. He only has 180 wood left. So he uses his last Shadow Bomb right here, but he still has 3 shockwaves, which are going to be extremely useful for the final fight. He catches his player coming out of the box, catches him off guard. There's a refresh right there. Not a lot of materials. And then this other player jumps into his box, and honestly, this got really scrappy, but Bugha hit the important shots. So it's a 1v1 situation right now. Bugha's down to his last 180 mats. He has shockwaves. Pressure is coming from the high ground. He knows what he has to do if he wants to come out on top. He doesn't want this to come down to a heel off. He shockwaves up, shoots, hits a couple of shots. He's in the storm right now. He's going to drop down in the box, the edit, and the shot. And with that, Bugha wins game 1 of the Fortnite World Cup, putting him at 19 points, with everyone else being at the 0 to 10 point range. But that was only one game. There are still 5 games left, and a 9-point lead is barely anything. He needs to continue to play well, or other players will catch up. And fortunately, that is exactly what happens. He starts his early game normally and notices there's a supply drop near Lucky Landing. He was feeling confident and aggressive and decides to go for it, but there was 3 other players also contesting him. But unfortunately, after an extended fight, Bugha gets caught with his pickaxe out, and someone edits and one pumps him.
Bugha eliminated to start off this game in 90th place.
Now all the momentum he had was gone.
Dad, actually, I sunk. My chest sunk.
0 points in the second game, leaving an opening for another player to take over. And that's exactly what Brazilian player King ended up doing.
He might have the high ground. Oh my gosh. They're both in and out of Baller's class. Looks like he might be looking for a campfire in the middle of it. Mr. Savage.
King at 7 limbs.
King was one of the 7 players who qualified from Brazil, and he was absolutely dominating with a very aggressive playstyle. He knew everybody was nervous, and he just didn't care. He ended up taking every single fight, and unfortunately, he only placed 18th place, but that's still a decent amount of placement points, and now he's only 1 point behind Bugha. This tournament was far from over, and any competitor would lose a lot of motivation after losing all the momentum like that. Going into game 3, the mental challenge that Bugha had to go through must have been tough. But Bugha ended up showing why he's in a complete elite class amongst all these competitors, because he didn't let it affect him. He's going through his normal loot path when he got some amazing news. His biggest competitor, King, took an early game fight and died off spawn. Now in game 3, it's his chance to take back the throne. He ended up getting great loot, moving through the zones very well, and finding an elite spot in the 50-50 zone where he's going to pick up a few eliminations on people rotating. Every single point matters. He ends up getting a lot of placement points just for being alive in this top 25, and he ends up dropping down on a player underneath his box.
Bugha does get another one. That's Kinzo.
Unfortunately, after that fight, he was in a tough spot because another player ended up dropping in on him and taking him out.
We're about to get into the top 10 here, Monster.
Look at left. We saw he does get taken out right there. Unfortunately, it's Peter Pan.
huge elimination right here and a refresh going into top 10. These are massive placement points. He's rotating right now when he ends up dropping into this guy's box, hitting a clutch shot. Top 6, more materials. He's rotating. He's on the low ground, kills another player, and now he's in a top 3 situation against Mongrel and Psalm. Mongrel ends up taking him out, but ends up dying to Psalm in the end. But in my opinion, Game 4 is one of the most clutch matches he played, because he literally went from having absolutely nothing, nearly dying the storm, to making it all the way to the top 3. But his lead isn't too far ahead of Psalm. Psalm is a veteran gamer who knows how to clutch and get points and play the meta to a perfection. He's the oldest competitor in the World Cup, but his game IQ is insane. He knows how to clutch and make plays, and he is right behind Bugha's tail. Now he's going into game 5, so he lands Lucky Landing again. Gets decent mobility, some good mats, but his guns are looking a little weak. Great tack and a great 8K. This time though, Psalm and King are still alive going into the end game, so Bugha needs to stay alive and get some more points. Unfortunately though, he gets cut off here while trying to rotate into the circle. This random kid decides to stop Bugha here and tries to kill his momentum, but Bugha ends up playing passive and ends up even emoting on him in the World Cup. Which, by the way, this move right here would not be legal in today's competitive scene.
And his opponent says, no thank you. No dance battle for me today. I'll
The
back
dance seems to have worked, and that player backs up. Bugha ends up launching into the zone. Again, he's placed perfectly in zone here and gets a very important kill on this baller that was rolling around. And yes, back then there were ballers, and this was the meta mobility during the World Cup. And now, once again, Bugha is in the end game. He shadow bombs out of his box. He has limited materials and health, and he's really close to that top 25 placement. He gets top 25, shadow bombs out of his box, starts hopping around, ends up using the last bit of his materials to box up, and now he's just going to use his box fighting skills to do this. Drops down, steals that elimination, gets both of them.
Bugha, what are you doing? 2 elims come in. He's
You can hear the energy from the crowd. He has a lot of materials now, a lot of heals. And guys, look at these mechanics. You can't tell me he's not the best player in this lobby. Look how fast he's building all the way back in 2019. Even when he has no mats, no materials, no heals, he is miraculously making these clutch plays consistently and willing himself into the win.
5 players left. He is sitting in one of the best spots I think he could have possibly imagined. Creo picking up an elimination. He's sandwiched between Pika, Piza's, Creo, and the ultimate low ground.
Bugha's got to make it on in.
He gets dropped right here and taken out, but not before securing a top 5 finish in game 5 with some very clutch eliminations.
Piza's finds that elimination. Creo gets the final one in game 5, goes to Creo.
And the player Bugha beat in game 1, Creo, ends up winning game 5, putting him in 3rd place with 30 points, Psalm at 32, and Bugha with an impressive 47 points. But if Bugha dies early in the final game and Psalm or Creo pop off, Bugha will lose the tournament, going from a 1st place $3 million finish to a 2nd place $1.8 million, losing out on $1.2 million. So the entire world of Fortnite was watching this kid fly down into Game 6 of the Fortnite World Cup. But so was the entire tournament. Anyone who wanted to win would try to make a last-minute drop on Bugha to try to make a hero play and shake up the tournament.
I'm looking around because this is my thoughts. I see or I hear all these kids coming. I'm like, bro, I'm in 1st. Someone's going to grief me. It's the last game, and I want to win.
But as Bugha was dropping into his two players fighting in the distance, and even though he could throw some snipe shots or third party, he ends up deciding to run away and move to center zone. The worst thing he can do right now is die early and let someone steal this from him. He's very careful, rotating all the way into the zone, and eventually uses the slipstream. He ends up going all the way to the center, and because he's in the middle, he ends up getting zoned a bunch of times. And this is where this narrative started, where people were saying Bugha was getting very lucky with the zone placement, but that's not the case. In game one, he did not get the zone, and we've seen him clutch and win games with the zone pulling far from lucky landing. He's just doing a really good job staying center zone, and that's something a lot of the players in this tournament were not doing.
Consistency so key, and Bugha has embodied that today. Only one bad game. The rest have been absolutely electric.
But while Bugha is sitting pretty, Sam is not letting up. He's getting eliminations, and he knows he's right on Bugha's tail.
This was replay, did get his first elim of this game, and you see the fist bump right there. That was Clicks who gets cut down.
He's made it to the half zone, but there's still 50 players alive, and Sam is hunting for more kills.
He's still 15 behind, Ben. Bugha's still in this game. What he needs right now, Bugha to go down, and he needs 5 more limbs and a victory royale. No!
There it is. That was the deciding moment. A player, Zate, jumped into Sam's box and took him out. And now everybody knows that no one is going to be able to catch Bugha. Again, Bugha with no builds and nothing to his name decides to do another insane clutch. He sees this player next to him. He ends up taking the wall, editing open, one pumping him. There's the refresh that he needed. And now he's going to be rotating in. At this point, he is extremely confident. He knows Sam died, and he's going to put on a clinic against all these players. He has this guy weak. He's out of mats again. He knows he has to rotate out. He catches him on the rotation. More materials, going for the high ground. Baller in his box, puts down the trap. That Baller gets out. Complete chaos. The final game of the World Cup. Still 20 players running around. He's in a top 10 situation, but he's only down to 9 builds. You can see him smiling right now, the camera crew behind him, the moment that he's been working for, but he still wants to finish strong. He has no mats remaining, and he's going to drop down on the low ground. He sees some players below him. He takes a couple shots, but with nothing left, he ends up dropping and picking up his final elimination. Pure and utter chaos breaks out, but Bugha leaves no doubt that he is the World Cup champion.
Your Fortnite World Champion, Bugha!
Ladies and gentlemen, Bugha wins the World Cup, earns $3 million, holds up the trophy, goes on Jimmy Fallon, and ends up solidifying himself as a Fortnite icon. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.